Hello, Soto.
Hello, Becky.
How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm really well today.
Great. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was really fattening.
Yeah, I had quite a lot as well. I drank a lot.
You drank a lot?
Yeah, especially whiskey.
Oh, you're a whiskey man, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
What's your tipple?
Well, whiskey, cognac, but Jack Daniels actually.
I'm a Bailey's girl.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's too sweet though.
I will have a Bailey. Too sweet? Well, I'm sweet though.
Oh, okay,
So
yes.
of course, sweet people attract sweet drinks.
Yes, they do, don't they? Yes, they do.
Hi, and welcome to the Swan Soto Show, your new week driving test centre gossip podcast. Every week we shall bring you lots of this. Why don't we bet some nuts?
That's a good idea.
Nuts right now. And this.
Now generation, they're all home playing bloody PlayStations.
And a little bit of this. But I was so trying not to pass wind.
But it's difficult.
Join us every week as we share and delve into the lives of us driving instructors and what really happens at the driving test centre. Right, so did you work over Christmas?
No, I finished on the 21st. That was my last day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mine too.
I had a parcel on that day.
A parcel?
Yeah, no, a parser.
A passer?
Yeah, a person who passes
Oh!
test.
Oh, you meant to say I had a pupil that passed their driving
The
test.
same thing, isn't it?
Passer.
A parser, yeah, I had a parser.
Sounds like pastor.
Oh, okay.
Vicar.
It must be my Greek accent then.
I thought you had some kind of Christmas ritual or something going
No,
on
no,
like
no,
that.
no,
You had
no.
a pass on Fridays.
No, we had actually at the food. Let's go to the food. What did you eat actually?
Turkey.
Oh, yeah, we too.
Good old classic.
Did you like your Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts. If my mother could hear this right now, she would actually laugh at you.
Really?
No, absolutely no.
No?
Brussels sprouts. Who eats those?
Oh, I do.
No.
Yeah, it's just you have the wind problem afterwards, but there you go.
I get the wind problem when I have raisins.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, but I love raisins too.
Well, I'll tell. Actually, there's a little story here. So I did have. Do you know those pat lunch raisin boxes you can get for kids' pat lunches?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the Sun Ripe ones or Sun Valley raisins. Well, anyway, I had a box munching because I was on one of my diets and driving around on a driving lesson. Ate a box before. Well, anyway, one of the parents wanted to chat with me after the lesson. So of course, after the youngster had his driving lesson, went to drop him off, and Mum and Dad are coming out the house, talking about their lovely's progress and talking about the test date and stuff like that. And I'm actually standing there trying to hold my guts. Well, it was one of those situations where it really raisins, and I was just kind of thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking about. I don't know what I'm concentrating on.
You know, listen to them or anything. Yes, yeah.
I don't know what they thought, but I was so trying not to pass wind.
But it's difficult. You know, in that situation, what can you do?
It was outside, so it wasn't a closed environment. I don't think they actually got it.
Well,
this was a few years ago.
If it was silent, then
I just want to reconfirm that I don't actually eat raisins anymore.
Okay. Shall we continue with?
Yeah, we'll continue. So happy New Year.
Yeah.
2019.
Oh my God, I know. Time flies, doesn't it?
2019, and what has the year got in store for us?
Wow, probably just normal standard life of
8 to 8
teaching.
driving,
Yes.
6 days a week.
Yes, Sunday off, needing my rest.
Needing your rest, doing my podcast, our podcast.
Our podcast, yeah, don't forget our. Yes, yeah.
Right, so lots of things going on this year. So just to kind of recap over the plans that me and Soto do have with the podcast, we are, this is our first official podcast, last week's podcast that hopefully you enjoyed, and we brought you some giggles in the new year. So that was actually recorded as a pilot show way before Christmas. So obviously we've been kind of getting a lot of feedback with regards to the venture that we're having. I just want to give a shout out to Mark Ford. I really do appreciate your support and your encouragement. So hopefully we get thumbs up for this podcast.
Yes.
Obviously some of the issues that we have in the industry, Soto, is so over the last few weeks there's been a lot of kind of comments online, haven't there, about driving instructors' diaries and the dreaded December cancellation. And how do you find January with teaching? Do you normally have lots of cancellations or?
Well, mostly they've got no money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right. Cancellations with the pupils, we get them, but with the test centre, it's a surprise always.
Oh well, that's
it's always a surprise.
It's the weather though sometimes, isn't it, as well?
It can be,
especially when it snows.
Yeah, that's in a way kind of like a relief because you don't have to go anywhere. But saying that it's not good for the pupils because they want to pass their tests.
Yeah,
obviously.
And also the waiting times, isn't it? So if it does snow, technically you might have to wait another 8 weeks for practical.
I know, and it builds up into
It
March.
does. Do you actually teach if if the test centre's closed, so say they deem it not safe for that day, the local test centre, do you decide to do you still take lessons on?
Well,
it's a bit controversial, isn't it? Some instructors do.
I know. If it depends on the pupil.
Yeah.
If they're new, then no, definitely not, because I don't want to scare them.
Yeah, sure.
But if they've had like 10 lessons experience, then why not? We're always going to have snow.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I'll tell you one example that I had a few years ago.
Okay.
I was going to a pupil and I skidded into the bush of the front garden.
Ah.
And that's me driving.
Bloody hell.
So I don't know. I don't actually agree with it. I don't think, because if the test centre deems it not safe, and they do advise you not to drive sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it goes down to experience. I've lived in the Czech Republic for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of snow there. So I can handle the car.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not that worried. But I am worried if the pupil gets scared whilst we're skidding somewhere. You know?
Yeah, sure.
So that's my worry. For me,
Do you use snow tyres?
No, I've got Continental tyres, which means for all-season tyre.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure if it's still safe. To tell you the truth.
I suppose it's a preferential treatment, really, isn't it? It's at the end of the day, it's a really good experience. I have done snow driving, but as I've gone on since that's kind of put me off. So I suppose that's on personal experience of mine, isn't it? So
well, there's a rule actually in Europe. When it's winter, you have to have winter tyres.
Yeah.
No, a law actually. So it would be good to have it in this country.
I suppose we don't really have that kind of. We have quite mild winters normally, don't we?
I know, but we have had heavy ones as well.
We have, and they do say that it's actually set to get worse. Our summers are getting hotter because of global warming, don't they? So be warned. We're only early January at the moment, so we've hopefully skipped the snow season.
I don't know. I reckon February is going to be heavy.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Should we put a bet on it?
Okay, 5p.
5p.
Well, I don't want to.
Why don't we bet some nuts?
That's a good idea.
Nuts right now.
Actually, my road is called Chestnut.
Is it Chestnut Road?
Actually, Chestnut.
I do have to just explain. I've got some peanuts left over from Christmas, and we do have a bowl of nuts right now.
Yeah, and it's stuck in the teeth already now.
The editor is actually laughing at us right now in the background.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why.
There you go. You can hear Soto munching away there. Yeah. When does the diet start?
Oh, it started 2 years ago.
I actually had 4 days off over Christmas. I think we're going to do a podcast show on this in the future, how instructors stay slim on the road.
Oh, that's going to be a long story.
Why?
Why? You never get time to go for a walk or run. But anyway.
You can if you have a cancellation.
You're just suddenly busy trying to get somebody else in, aren't you?
Trying to get someone else in. Oh, bless. So, today, what we want to talk about. So, we're talking about test centre gossip. So, one of the stories that come to my attention, I was at one of the driving test centres, and a lady instructor, she had just had an incident that morning. And she was really, really, really upset. And so basically what had happened was she was waiting at a traffic light, crossroads, and she was stationary. And a cyclist come up on the left-hand side and kind of swerved into the car. But as he swerved into the car, his pedal got caught on the paintwork and he then toppled over and then ended up scratching the whole downside of the car.
I would have killed him.
So... Well, she was really, really upset. Obviously, she got out of the car and put the hazards on and did all the rest of it. But she was, obviously, her main problem or query, get advice on what does she do on driving tests. What does she do on, what does she do on the actual, in terms of the car insurance? Because she got a quote and... it was going to be in excess of £1,000, and as she said, you don't earn lots of money on the road as an instructor. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But she didn't want to go for insurance because obviously she don't want to lose no claims.
Right.
So she got the details of the cyclist, and she was actually that savvy. She phoned the phone to make sure it was
him or not.
It was actually him, and she he seemed to kind of cooperate with her, but it kind of just led me to think, there is a growing number of cyclists on the road in the UK, isn't there? And
there are, yes.
I remember when I started in 2003 back in Northampton, I can't even remember there being a cycle lane, let alone. I remember there was actually only one 20-mile-an-hour speed zone in the town.
Okay, I remember back in 1983 that cyclists could just go to the shop and buy sweets and go back. Not like nowadays, they are racing everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
things have changed.
I did have another student as well. He was actually based in Oxford, and he cycled everywhere. So obviously he was getting his license because he got his first job over in Wantage. But so he needed his car license. But he did say that when he first got to Oxford, because it is actually a cycling city, it's actually got signs all over the place. Yeah. That he wished that he had somewhere to go for some training. And so obviously talking to this instructor and obviously some of the students that I've had in the past, it just kind of make you think that people go to so much trouble getting a driving license and having especially with the theory training that they have to do. Yeah. Should cyclists actually have training? And also car insurance. Should they have bicycle insurance?
They should.
Should they be insured?
First of all, I reckon they should do a test like we all do, like a normal car test, or bicycle test.
Yeah.
Get a registration or get some kind of a notice of that you've passed, like a number plate, and you put it on your bike or on your back or on your jacket or whatever. Okay. Plus, you need insurance and road tax. Okay, I don't know, £10 a year road tax, let's say, because they don't use the road much, do they?
Do you think that would deter people from using a bike?
Yes, because then it'll be by law.
But do you think that would decrease cyclists on the road? Because surely we're trying to promote eco-driving and people walking.
Yeah, I know, but if they're all insured, then the police will have those, what's it called on their car? They can record a car, it's got no insurance and MOT.
The insurance database, like a cycling database type thing. Yeah,
exactly. So they can.
So in theory, they would have to have like a registration number plate type thing on the bike.
Yes.
So what would happen? Because in Oxford, you can rent bikes.
Okay, renting bikes, then they're going to have insurance as well. The companies who rent bikes should have insurance.
Okay, it's an interesting topic though, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of years ago, you remember this, don't you, Soto?
Yeah, I do.
There was a lad who was 20 and he...
in Banbury,
Yeah, I was actually on a driving lesson. I was about 4 cars back and the whole town was gridlocked, but unfortunately he pulled up on the left of the lorry and he did end up losing his life. He, I don't know the details in and out of the actual story, but I know today that there's a memorial bike on the railings where he died, a white bike. And it was, my pupil at the time who was driving, she was traumatized and, just experiencing that kind of situation. But this is, this is kind of what's happening in the country. There's a lot of, I think, they reported in 2016 about 100 cyclists dying on the roads in the UK every single year. So there is a growing need. Obviously the government is trying to push for people to drive, not drive, use the bikes and stuff. So obviously if you want to find the full statistics on that, if you go to the website www.fullfacts.org/health/cyclist deaths, they will tell you, they've got all the information there, and obviously on the DVLA's website you can get statistical data. There has actually been a decline since 2013 from some of the research that I've found. There is an improvement in deaths of cyclists, but at the end of the day, what do you think about how else can the government promote road safety in that area? What's your opinion?
Well, I looking back to the 80s where you had the on TV clunk and click every trip. like to put your seatbelt on. Have you
Clunk
seen
and
that? Clunk and click every trip.
Vaguely.
Okay, and also the green. Was the green cross command code or whatever?
Green cross code. Yeah.
And they showed a clip of a man in green clothes and helping people to cross the road. You know, looking left and right. So they should advertise on TV something with the bikes, telling them how dangerous it could be.
They are. This is also leading on to the government is actually released in last November about a new scheme that they're putting £500,000 into, like a trial in 2019 at some point, promoting cycling awareness courses for drivers and hoping to decrease car insurance premiums. How do you think that would work?
That would be good. That sounds bloody good.
Would it be something? Pretend you're not a driving instructor, but would you actually go and do a course if you could save that?
I would. 10 years ago, because probably I was saying now I can drive. I don't need anything. But yeah, I would, because when you get older, you seem to understand more. But when you're younger, you just don't care much. So it should be kind of like a law in a way that after 3 years of driving, you should do some kind of awareness course or something similar.
Yeah, there's obviously extra training that they can do. Part of the proposals that the government have stipulated is that they're going to actually encourage or request that driving instructors actually do cycling awareness trainers as compulsory. And also obviously working with Bikeability, the charity that does cycle training in schools, and making it more widespread across the country. So it is going to help promote, but with the training there comes more responsibility.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But do you think it will deter?
It will, but not so big.
Okay, so I went out last week and actually asked some of the general public their opinions on cycle training and cycle insurance.
Okay.
And this is what their feedback was.
I think that we should be able maybe to recognize that the cyclist is, because sometimes they don't have the lights on or whatever. They, I think, shouldn't be allowed to listen to music or whatever while they are cycling. That's, I think, the first thing, because they have no awareness at all what's around them. Maybe they should also have some kind of a number plate on certain roads. And in the first place, what I think that if there is a cycle path next to the road, they should be using it. They should be fined for not using it, especially the cycle paths in a good condition, because that's what they cause lots of traffic jams and things. So I definitely...
So should cyclists have training to be on the roads and insurance?
I think they should have extra training, and they should have insurance if they're going to damage cars as well.
What benefit would cyclists have training?
To keep them safer as well, because they don't always look out for what cars are doing.
As far as training is concerned with cyclists, I think that would definitely be a good thing, especially with younger ones, school children and whatnot, not actually having the opportunity before to have formal road traffic training. I think to make them aware of what cars are trained to do would be really good, like road signs and where to turn and signalling especially. Nobody ever seems to do that these days. I don't know how practical insurance is in terms of when you hit a cyclist, the insurance. I'll leave that up to the professionals. So I don't know how that would work in reality, but definitely road training for the younger ones would be really good.
Okay, so quite a mixed response there, isn't it, Soto?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So obviously some people are saying that they wouldn't do any training and they can't see it being beneficial on the car insurance because of the stats. According to the Association of Insurance Bureau, stated that 0.01% of all car insurance claims were involved with cyclists, and that's quite a minuscule, but I guess a lot of people don't claim on their car insurance like the driving instructor, because they're not insured. It's not quite a true statistic, is it really? No. So here we've got an article on the Department for Transport's website. So with regards to driving instructors, so basically driving instructors will be offered bespoke training to ensure cyclist safety is at the forefront of their minds when they teach new drivers. This is a pilot initiative launched in June by the cycling minister, Jessie Norman. So alongside the training, £500,000 is being put into a pilot scheme to try and to get the safety mindset approach to driving instructors. So they're kind of getting the cycling awareness at a grassroots level.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be compulsory in schools?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, why not?
But as they've just said, the general public, you know, one person commented stating that they did a bike course when they were at school, but they've forgotten everything since then. So I actually thought maybe like a free online kind of theory training course. That could be a good idea.
It's true.
Could be, you know, for cycling.
But I think let's go back to just generations, because in our time we were climbing trees and falling over and whatever.
Yeah.
And going on the roads. Now generation, they're all home playing bloody PlayStation, so they've got no awareness of their surroundings.
Yeah.
So really, the school should help them to wake up, I think.
Yeah, well, it just starts with the children, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And obviously road safety. So there is food for thought there. One of the stories that I've got as a personal experience talking about cycle training and accidents and stuff. A friend of mine, this was about 14 years ago, I just actually started as an instructor. So she had just dropped her children off at karate.
Right.
And do you know those primary schools that have a gate, kind of like high-rise gates?
I used to swing on them sometimes.
Well, she just dropped the kids off and she was just coming out the gate and she was peeping, creeping, and as she was coming up to the entrance of the school to exit, the path ran along the entrance of the school, and she noticed that a cyclist, because she couldn't see because it was winter and it was dark, it was about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
But as she peeped and creeped out, a cyclist went into her bonnet and flipped over the bonnet and landed on the pavement. But as she got out of the car, she panicked. The cyclist got up, kind of shuffled along, straightened his bike out, and off he went. But he wouldn't, talk to her. She was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" She was really panicking.
Right.
Well, anyway, I remember her phoning me and asked me, what should I do? And I said, well, you have to cover yourself. You need to go and report it.
Yeah.
So that's what she did. She went to the police station. She had no details to give apart from destination.
What he looks like or whatever.
Description and stuff. So she filed a claim, reported at the station. Anyway, cut a long story short, she didn't hear nothing. But three months later, she had a letter from the police stating that somebody had gone in to the station and reported a crime 3 months prior, and particulars of the crime matched her statement when she originally gave it. So they sent
was
a
it
letter
like a hit and run thing?
Yeah, well, I don't know if the chap actually stated hit and run, but luckily she did kind of put other people's names down when she reported it as witnesses. So. But the police did say in the letter, on this occasion, because you reported it and he didn't, we're not going to take any further action. So
really, it's best just to go straight to the police station soon after. If you can.
I mean, it actually states it's part of the theory training, doesn't it? So. Yeah, thank God she did though, because had she not gone to the police, what would have happened? Do you know what I mean? Because that's quite a serious crime, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So at the end of the day, people do have accidents, and sometimes we all have accidents. We all have little bumps and scrapes, and we all have moments in the car where we're not quite concentrating or whatever. But you've got to be careful, you have to kind of keep yourself safe. So if you are cycling to work or trying to learn to drive, either or, we need to kind of look out for each other there. It'd be interesting to see what happens as the pilot scheme gets launched. So just thought we'd chat about that today.
Yeah, good.
So I think that's a good place to wrap this one up then, don't we, Soto?
Yes. We said quite a lot on that one.
Quite a lot of information, actually. What do you feel like doing in future podcasts? What topics do you want to talk about?
Being in the car doing the test as well.
Shall I tell you what we got
coming
Go on
then.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about Drivers Act next week and giving you some stories about learner drivers who come to the test with their retests. And yeah, we've all had some of those, ain't we?
Yeah, loads of those, yes.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about that in future podcasts. We have one podcast, so it's called Spot the Learner on the Motorway. Have you ever seen another learner on the motorway?
Actually, no, I haven't.
I haven't.
No, I haven't. I've been on it.
I'm going to be putting a question out there to actually find out, because all this hype 6 months on, I don't think that's,
I know. I've been only once. 6 months, I've been once. And she was a passer. And she actually said, "Oh, it's quite easy." Bless her.
It's quite easy driving in a straight line. Just make sure you take your blind spot. Change lanes. Okay, so just to wrap this one up then, what's your New Year's resolution?
I'll just be myself, do what I'm doing, enjoy life.
Oh,
really.
it's a bit boring.
No,
Everyone has
it's
to have a
not.
new... Yes, they do.
No, look, I'm quite happy. I'm a cheerful guy, so I've got nothing to change really. I'm chuffed.
You bought a cap today.
I did, yeah.
I am so pleased. Do you know,
Good.
I'm going to actually order our caps for us for next lesson.
Okay, good.
Not-
Lesson. You're
done
going
it
to teach
again.
me.
I've just done it again.
You're going to teach me again something.
So we're going to have Swan
Yeah.
Soto caps wearing on our podcast. Not that you
Yeah.
can see us because it's just our voice, but I know it's there. It's fine. It's fine. Right, so we do really appreciate your support. And again, all the people that have kind of encouraged us to do this podcast, we hope that you really kind of get something out of it. The purpose of this podcast is to kind of just have a giggle, educate you a little bit, discuss certain topics relevant to the industry,
Hear
and
what's
kind of
going
just enlighten you a little bit. So we do really, really, really want your support. Tweet back our comments.
Yes, say what you want.
Say what you want, and if you have anything to say or comment on what we've discussed in this podcast, then let us know. So then in future podcasts we can kind of
Don't
get
be
it out
rude.
there.
Don't be rude though. Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
No, say what you want, but
No. We keep it clean.
Yeah, of course.
We never swear
squeaky
or, you
clean.
know.
No, we never do we.
No. Like all instructors, gossip in test centres keep
Do.
You have to be somewhat slightly eccentric to do this job, don't you?
You got to have. Oh my God, you're going to have an open mind to everything.
So
everything,
we
yes.
are launching this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and of course our YouTube channel that you can find over on YouTube. That would be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
We will put all the links out on the platforms that we put on, but please follow us on social media, Facebook and Twitter. We're thinking about Instagram, but we don't know. But if you want to give us a review, we've already mentioned this in the pilot show, please give us 5 stars. Or as Soto says,
Any star.
any star will do. But in your comments, you have to copy and paste your message from your last pupil or your last message from your driving instructor. Until next time, take care.
Yes, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.